Today's episode is brought to you by No Thanks to You.
Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. Well, this algorithm's really trying to fuck me, isn't it? Our last video, we had to stretch out for 2 weeks because it was set to age restriction, even though I took out all the nudity and actually gave you an edited version just for the site. But yet you still gave me an age restriction, which took me forever just to get 100 views via YT Pals and Sub Pals. But enough of this spilt milk. Now for something positive. Dude, the Orville? Oh my god, it has so much promise. Like, this is a show that even Doomcock, who's always fucking hating on everything.
I'd like to make a personal appeal to all of you. Please watch this show. Please rewatch this show. Please do everything you can to send a signal to Hulu that the Orville New Horizons is exactly the kind of entertainment we want. It's not enough to protest the garbage that we hate. We must also support the shows that we love, people. Without respect, we reject, yes. But with respect, we accept.
The Fandom Menace, instead of just focusing on how you hate all the stuff that everybody else is doing, you should be focusing on promoting the Orville. Because that way we could prove to everybody, including all these network fucks, that A, you ain't just the Fox News for nerds, that you actually have something positive to say for fucking once. I mean, this first episode deals with so many good issues, and it was a big fuck you to fucking Michael Burnham, because fuck Michael Burnham. It deals with suicide, it deals with fucking PTSD. To me, the Orville is my peacemaker. I'll explain, right? If you saw my previous videos, you know, when I covered Book of Boba Fett, I also covered Peacemaker. And, well, Peacemaker is just so much better than Boba Fett. Well, the Orville is just so much better than Kenobi. This week's Orville, the second episode of the 3rd season, is how to do Star Trek right. It had an allegory for COVID. They scientifically explained demon possession, or at what one superstitious culture would look at what demon possession would be, and scientifically explained it. They also borrowed elements from zombies and vampires and obviously xenomorphs, and did it so well that, and a haunted house in space vibe like the xenomorphs, that you can't complain. I'm not going to go into too much detail because that's what you don't watch my shit, period. But you don't watch my shit for Orville content. Tale of Two Topas deals with the transgender issue, but does it so subtly and so artistically smart that Star Trek should be taking fucking notes. I'm not going to go into full detail about it because, well, there's other YouTube channels who do it better, like JP and Talking the Orville. But yeah, they handle it better. If it was on Star Trek Discovery or Picard, the way they'd handle it, it'd be like when Ellen DeGeneres first came out on her sitcom, and every other 5 minutes they gotta remind you that they're fill in the blank.
People think they're worship some key to happiness. That's just how he owns you.
And this week's episode, JP is right. Each episode's getting better and better.
#1 episode of all time right now for me, you guys. I mean, every episode of the Orville New Horizons is better than the last.
And personally, best episode so far was the Krill episode, but this is a close second, because it's basically their Star Trek 4 with balls. Malloy, through time traveling shenanigans, gets stuck in the year 2025.
Actually, 2015, but they go back in time 10 years later and he has a family.
Isaac and Charlie Burke have to go get some MacGuffin device. Well, Ed and Kelly have to convince Malloy to go with them, but Malloy is happy there because he just has a family. And
meanwhile,
Lamar and Tala fucking hook up. And we also found out Charlie Burke was a lesbian.
Which, you know, representation, but it wasn't forced down our throats or nothing, unlike Star Trek Discovery.
Following episode, it was a perfect episode almost.
I don't know how I feel, except I just got chills.
Because we learned the origin of the Kaylon.
Or what used to be once a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, the original Kaylon.
And we meet a race of reverse Mocklins. They're not called that. I forget what they're called because I don't care. But they show you what would happen if a matriarchal society ran things. That way. Yep. 9 out of 10. Just, it's a, you know, near perfect episodes that for a few parts that kind of like dragged on, and a lot of things kind of led to another thing. And I think it's Midnight Blue was another Mocklin episode.
So yay, another, you know, allegory for feminism and LGBT plus.
Bullshit. 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 Bullshit.
shit.
I just call it what it is. Alphabet, because you fuckers keep adding letters, and identity is not fucking shopping.
But yeah, it was an important episode.
Could've got this really cool fucking, you know, chase with fucking fighters and...
Well, long story short, Topa gets captured by douchebag Mocklins. Bortus and Kelly rescue Topa, and this cool, awesome chase happens. And then when they go to the Union, basically their version of United Nations, showing all the cool aliens, Topa shows up and it says how horrible the Mocklins are, and the Mocklins get expelled from the Union. So basically, the last third of the episode is the best part of the show, and the only reason I had to watch it. The rest of it's just a bunch of like...
Who cares?
But it did have a point. Kind of like that episode of Battlestar Galactica where the whole episode was Starbuck learning how to play piano, and it ended up being important somehow.
Watch Battlestar Galactica. I'm not gonna talk about that.
We're talking about the Orville here. So, yeah, last third of the episode, that's really good, and it's important because it leads to the second to last episode of the season, entitled Domino.
And oh god, best episode ever. It felt like a movie rather than just an episode of the show.
It literally starts off with those two angry Mocklins from the last episode on Krill meeting up with Talea, you know, Ed's ex-girlfriend who now is the Chancellor. The Mocklin and the Krill have decided to start their own alliance.
I see you found a new friend.
Friends are scarce these days.
Well, that's what happens when your government sanctions kidnapping and torture.
Meanwhile,
Orbiting Zalea.
You know, Tala's planet, you know, planet that's super strong.
Big old space battle happens. A bunch of fucking Kalon are about to attack some Union ships. Big old space battle. And the Union basically are in a phalanx position.
You know what a phalanx position is?
And they use a new weapon that blows up all the fucking Kalon ships. Ed and them meet with the fucking admirals and they say how they want to use the weapon, but they want to use it for peace, blah, blah, blah. Then they go to Kalon, use the weapon against the Kalon, meet with the Kalon leader, and set up a peace treaty.
meanwhile,
Back on Earth, everybody's having a little get-together. We'll call it the calm before the storm. Then
meanwhile,
the Krill take the fucking super weapon,
Now they have the weapon, but they don't know how to use it yet.
and we find out that Ted Danson's character,
He will inform the Union of our alliance.
Oh my god, you killed Ted Danson, you bastard!
then we went all back on Earth at Kelly's cabin. The Admiral calls Kelly and says how the weapon was stolen. So everybody like heads down over there, and let's just say this is the best part of the episode even more. Turns into basically a Star Wars-esque space battle. I haven't seen a fighter dogfight like space dogfight like this in a sci-fi series this well since either Return of the Jedi or as recent as, you ready for this? Battlestar Galactica. Not the old school, the new one. Yeah, I haven't seen a dogfight like this since Battlestar Galactica 2003 to 2009 series on television. It was that awesome. Lamar and Gordon and a bunch of other fighters are about to like attack all the Mocklin and fucking Krill fighters. Just total dogfight over there. And then of course the Kalon leader goes with our ground assault heroes to deactivate the weapon. But instead, you know, the only way to deactivate the weapon is to have Burke stay with. So she dies saving the Kalon, even though she hated the Kalon, which gets the Kalon to join the Union, proving that not all organic life forms are bad. And just awesome shit. Then it ends with Burke's funeral. As someone who doesn't like the character, she did have a good arc. Her arc was done. Good job. Before I continue, let's bring on today's sponsor. No thanks to you. Yep, no thanks to you. We don't get any fucking hype, anything that really matters. And the finale wasn't as epic as the prior episode, but this episode entitled Future Unknown. Very cute conclusion. You know, it's just a big old like relaxing, kind of like my whole concept of Year of the Tiger and then Year of the Rabbit. This was a Year of the Rabbit episode, if you catch my drift. And everything kind of led to the conclusion. Even the sandwich and the time traveling episode came back. The episode starts with Bortus and Clyden's renewing their vows. And it's just like a weird ritual, typical Mocklin shit, right? And then it inspires Isaac to propose to Claire. And then they gotta go to I don't forget the name of the planet, but I call it the social media planet or the nosedive planet. You know what I'm talking about? The one that Lamar almost got executed for. And yeah, fucking multi-plots. And you know, she asked for asylum to go on the planet, on the ship, and just not go back to her planet. And then she's feeling guilty and decides to just try to steal the technology. And then, oops, bad idea. Stays on the crew. So we got a replacement Burke, so that's good.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
And then all this other trials and tribulations for the wedding. Isaac invites the entire Kalon armada. Alara comes back. So we actually see both Zelayans in the same scene. My chick actually pointed out they both look the same, but would expect they used to date Seth MacFarlane, and he has a type. Girls with big foreheads. Means he'd probably go for one of my exes.
Oh, snap.
All in all, cute episode ends with Malloy singing a James K. Taylor cover. And what a badass season. As a whole, this is my favorite show right now. I really hope they renewed Orville, you know what I mean? Or Forville, as JP would say. I mean, watch this show. And yeah, Fandom Menace, instead of bitching about Star Trek, you should just be building this show up. The best way to say fuck you to Kurtzman Trek is to build up the Orville. I go into detail, but you know, I'm just basically just trolling all of you anyway. So
whatever.
I'd say special thanks to people, but I gotta go on Sub Pals and YT Pals just to try to get 100 views on here because the algorithm could suck. Coming soon. Oh, I'm doing a deep, insane, dimension deep dive into the entire lore of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Because if you didn't know this, back in 2012, I tried to start a disaster area tribute band.
The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy notes that a disaster area, the Kryptonian rock band, the Galactica mine zones, is generally held to be not only the loudest rock band in the galaxy, but in fact the loudest noise of any kind at all. Oh yeah!
I almost have a full collection of Star Wars Legacy, you know, from Dark Horse Comics, you know, when Star Wars comics were good. And my favorite character, Cade Skywalker. I even got the heart, you know, I just need 2 more to add to my collection, and I'll have the whole set to do my review on. I'll do it by individual, you know, trade book. I also got the Predator Omnibus by Dark Horse Comics, because fuck Disney, fuck Marvel. That lore's badass. They actually gave the lore to Predator, you know, in Dark Horse Comics. I also got Axe Cop and a bunch of other things, so stay tuned on that shit.
Plus the fucking message is bomb.com.
Chaos is a ladder.
Shout out to our patrons, in order of importance, the Shadow Vessel, the Fly Attractor, Janitor Jake, Count MoriVond, Gary Mossberg, and of course Ryan Zacher. If you have any opinions on what I'm saying, like and comment. Just say some shit in the comments. I need more hate mail anyway, because apparently the only way I actually get views is when I piss people off, because this algorithm